Hey, welcome back to DieCash Cars. So today it is with my pleasure to say that I finally was able to complete one of the goals within my own personal collection, and that was to get all factory sealed super treasure hunts of all of the Nissan Skyline castings. Now that is just 6 super treasure hunts. Surprisingly, you almost think that there'd be a lot more Nissan Skyline super treasure hunts out there, but nope, just 6 cars. And I'm sure a lot of collectors out there also have these super treasure hunts within their collection. If you are a die-hard Nissan Skyline collector such as myself. But what I will say is that the prices on these Skyline Supers are definitely going up. So depending on when you were able to obtain these cars, or if you are still trying to obtain them, just be ready to spend a lot more than probably what you really would want to. On top of that, you guys know I'm very heavy on collecting factory sealed cars. So fortunately, the 4 cars in the back here, the R32, the 2000 GTR, the 2000 GTX, and the Nissan GTR R35, those are all that I've either gotten out of master sets or mini sets over the last couple of years. The 2 that I had to track down in the last year or so was first the 2007 Nissan Skyline Super Treasure Hunt. My only thing with this casting and this release was that I wanted it to be in mint condition. I did not want the paint flaking that this cast is very prone to. I wanted it on mint card, and obviously factory sealed set from 2007 in this day and age is just very tough to come by, and I feel like I did very well on all of those accounts. I mean, if you look at this car, very minimal paint flaking. The blister, the card, everything looks really good, and it is in fact a 2007 factory sealed car. I did, however, have to pony up for this. I bought this about late last year, and I ended up paying $250 for it, which I know it's quite the sum of money, but I will say that right now on the secondary market, this car is selling in that $200 to $250 price point, even without the sticker. So I feel like with the added value of the sticker, this is probably about a $300 to maybe even $350 car right now. And the last Nissan Skyline Super Treasure Hunt that I needed to complete this goal of mine within my collection was the R34. And I know what you guys are thinking, this is probably on everybody's list at the tippy top as far as Nissan Skyline Super Treasure Hunts that they would look to add to their collection, but it was one that I was very reluctant to get, kind of dragged my feet on it. I've actually had this car before in the past, but I got rid of it for the reason that I'm just not thrilled with this Spectra Flame green. And I know what you guys are thinking, I'm all about the color green. I mean, DieCash green. I mean, I talk about that all the time, but for some reason, guys, this apple green does not work on the R34. I think a big part that kills it for me too is it's missing headlight tampos, and what we get in replacement is that top stripe down the center like you'd see on a Ford Mustang or a Camaro. The wheel choice is pretty terrible. But again, because I wanted to complete this goal of mine, I had to pick this one up. I feel like over time it'll grow on me, and I should definitely appreciate it a lot more. The other reason I picked this up recently was because I saw it for a pretty good deal. Obviously, prices on the R34 Super Treasure Hunt are definitely going up in value. Right now, sitting in that $150 to $175 price point. I ended up picking this up at about $170 shipped with fees. And I felt like that was a pretty good deal given that factory seal cars right now for the R34, the Super Treasure Hunt specifically, are in that $200 to $250 price point. So I feel like I got a pretty good deal on this piece. So I took it, and again, it allowed me to complete the goal of all factory sealed Nissan Skyline Super Treasure Hunts. As far as the other Nissan Skyline Super Treasure Hunt values, you got the 2020 Nissan Skyline GTR R32. This one is definitely going up in value. It's becoming more and more of a sought after casting. Right now, secondary market is sitting at about $100 for the non-factory sealed, and the latest factory sealed version of this actually sold for $140. So again, very fortunate that I was able to pull this from a mini set from back in the day. Then you got the 2022 Nissan Skyline 2000 GTX Super Treasure Hunt, and you guys saw I pulled this from the 2022 Master Set. This one right now, again, just because it's such a recent release, only sitting in that $50 price point, even factory sealed, not a lot of value on that sticker just as of yet, because again, it's just still so new. But I feel like long term, this one will definitely have some value, some demand for it. And as far as the color green on this casting, all I can say is that I like it a lot better than the R34. I almost kind of wish the R34 came in a darker shade of green. It might have made me feel a little bit better about it. Even this green though, I will say it's not my favorite, just because from a realistic side of things, I don't think the Hakoska ever came in this shade of green. But nonetheless, it's a super, it's here, and if you want to be complete from a Nissan Skyline Super Treasure Hunt standpoint, you gotta add it to the collection. Then you got the 2000 GTR, the Ken Mary Skyline Super Treasure Hunt from 2018 in this Spectre Flame Blue, and I love the Electron Blue pinstriping that they did on this release to pay homage to the Tokyo Auto Salon version that came out in the 1970s. I am very biased on the Super Treasure Hunt because it was actually the first Super Treasure Hunt I ever found in the wild back in 2018. So obviously I had to pick up one of these factory sealed versions. I believe I got this in the mini set from back in the day. I don't know, this has just been one of the OGs within my collection, and I almost forget where I got it from, but nonetheless, you gotta have it in your collection. Very underrated from a value standpoint. Again, this is about a 5 going on 6-year-old Super Treasure Hunt release of a Nissan Skyline, and it is still just sitting in that secondary market price point of $50, very similar to the 2000 GTX. So I don't know if it's just collectors not really buying into the vintage Nissan Skylines from a diecast standpoint, but this one is a beauty, guys. I personally see the value on these going up in the future. $50 price point right now, I feel, is a steal. And last but not least, you got the Nissan Skyline that doesn't have Skyline in the name. It's only known as the Nissan GTR R35, but we all know this is part of the Skyline lineage. This Super Treasure Hunt release is actually pretty significant, just in the pure and simple fact that it is part of the Nissan 50th anniversary. So it does have the blue color, in which the real car actually came in this color with that white stripe down the center. It is also part of the 25th anniversary of Hot Wheels Super Treasure Hunts, which also incorporates that into the TH logo, as you can see on the rear license plate there. So all in all, I mean, this is a very significant Super Treasure Hunt to have. I mean, aside from being part of the Nissan Skyline Super Treasure Hunt collection. So there you have it, all 6 Nissan Skyline Super Treasure Hunts up to date, all with their own unique flair and significance. It would be super difficult to determine which one would be my absolute favorite, ranking these from 1 to 6. But if I had to, it would be something like this. Basically, you got the R34 coming in number 6, and I know what you guys are thinking. R34 cast is so popular, but again, I'm just not thrilled about this release. Really only have it from a name value standpoint. Then you got the 2000 GTX, again, kind of the same reasoning, just not feeling that green on the Nissan Skyline. Again, to me, guys, Skyline should be neutral colors: black, gray, white. And then if you're going to get a little extravagant, it's blue, red. I mean, even the orange doesn't look too terrible on a Nissan Skyline. Coming in number 4, it's got to be the 2017 Nissan GTR R35. Great execution. Just not a huge fan of this particular Nissan Skyline, just because I'm not a fan of the automatic transmission. I know it's faster. Everybody tells me that, but I'm an old school guy. I love my manual transmissions, which brings me to the R32, one of my personal favorite Nissan Skylines overall. Aside from the R34, I would personally buy the R32 over an R33 just because I love how simple and small and compact that body style is, but then it still maintains those wide arching fenders that make it look so aggressive. And I think Hot Wheels did a great job recasting, retooling the casting, and bringing us a Super Treasure Hunt form in such a classic, iconic gray color. And you can't ignore those bronze TE37s. Coming in number 2, it's got to be one of my favorite Nissan Skylines of all time, the Ken married the 2000 GTR, for all the reasons that I mentioned not too long ago. Again, deep dark spectral flame blue with the electron blue pinstriping, just a classic, underrated Skyline release, and the absolute favorite with my collection for Nissan Skyline Super Treasure Hunts. It's gotta be the 2007 release of the Nissan Skyline R32. Pure and simple fact is, it's very nostalgic for me. I did not have the Super Treasure Hunt as a kid. I didn't even know there were Super Treasure Hunts back then. But the reason I really like this is because the first edition release from 2001, that was the Nissan Skyline that really allowed me to get on board with the import racing scene, Nissan Skylines, Hondas, etc. And I absolutely loved finding this cast in first edition form in the stores. To this day, where I have the Super Treasure Hunt, I mean, it just brings back all kinds of nostalgia for me. So this one has to be my favorite Skyline Super, and we'll see what other Skylines that they will bring out for us to enjoy as collectors. So let's actually think about that for a second. There is a Nissan Skyline R30 casting, which is pretty popular. It's come out a number of times. You can see here, this is one of the multi-pack exclusives. It's been a mystery model. We've seen it in mainline, we've seen it in premium, so maybe this is in line to get a Super Treasure Hunt format, which I'm sure it'll be popular. There are also other Skyline castings out there, like the C210. This one, we've only ever seen it in a premium format, so whether it's Carculture, Fast and Furious, or the Malins, such as this one might be a little bit further from a mainline Super Treasure Hunt execution, just because, again, we haven't even seen it in regular mainline yet. Similar to that, we got the Nissan Skyline Van 1969. This came out in cargo carriers back in 2018, and I remember it was super popular. Everybody thought it was going to be the next 510 wagon. It even came out in a nice sea breeze mist green color, very similar to the 510 wagon from Boulevard. But honestly, it's kind of gone downhill from a popularity standpoint. Not a lot of people shooting after it. Even when it does release, not a lot of interest. And again, we've never seen it in a mainline release. So the chances of this being a Super Treasure Hunt in the near future, probably pretty slim. And then I think the one Nissan Skyline Super Treasure Hunt that I think we all know is coming has to be the R33. Super popular Nissan Skyline in real life and also in a diecast format. I mean, again, between the R33, the R32, and the R34, I mean, those are the go-to Nissan Skylines. And the fact that we haven't gotten this in Super Treasure Hunt form yet is pretty surprising, but I am pretty sure it's coming. Obviously not this year, 2023, but definitely could see it being the signature Super Treasure Hunt in 2024. Or worst case 2025. So definitely be on your guard, because this is coming. And again, any of these Skyline castings, if they're released in Super Treasure Hunt form, you know I gotta pick one up in a factory sealed variation to add to my growing collection of Skyline Supers here. But that's what I got for you guys today. Let me know what Skylines Super Treasure Hunts you have in your collection, and which casting do you want to see be a Super Treasure Hunt next. I'm guessing a lot of you guys are going to say the R33. And also think about what other Skyline castings you even want to see them bring into Hot Wheels Diecast 164 form. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time on Diecashcars.